So, yeah, basically, unfortunately, the last time we were talking so nicely about vitamin D.
Yes.
And unfortunately, this recording did not really work well, technically. And
Yeah, maybe this is a good advantage.
it was so great and filled with so interesting information that you have to give to the people about vitamin D, because this one-fits-all idea that people think about vitamin D is not true. And I would like you to explain that again.
Let's try if I can if I'm able to explain it once again. So vitamin D is not vitamin D. So the vitamin D that we are taking in is not the vitamin D that we are utilizing. That means we have to proceed it inside the body.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is we are producing vitamin D by ourselves. So strictly, vitamin D is not a vitamin, because vitamin means vit, and amine.
Yes.
This amine is a
Chemical
chemical combination, and it is vital, so that we cannot produce it ourselves. We have to take it in, like vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C. Vitamin D is something that we can produce ourselves, and it's produced in our skin by sunlight from by the way, from cholesterol. So if we are going out here in Dubai into the sun, that's very interesting.
So that would be the first learning for our audience to understand there are vitamins
Yeah.
that are defined by being substances that the body or that we need to eat. We need to incorporate them, otherwise we won't have them, and they are vital for our survival.
That's right.
Except for vitamins, for the trace elements. Similar.
Yes,
to that,
yeah. Similar to that. Yeah, we need some trace elements, we need some proteins, we need some vitamins.
Yeah. Proteins we can produce by ourselves?
Yeah, well, mainly, yes.
Yeah.
Mainly. But it needs much higher energy level to produce it all yourself, except or if you take it in with a normal diet, then you don't have to produce them.
But sorry that I interrupted you. You were talking about the vitamin D, and if I understand you right, the vitamin D is not one of those, because we actually create it in our body.
Yes.
Through sunlight and through incorporating the preform of vitamin D.
Yes. There are two major preforms that you normally can find as a dietary supplement. You find it also in milk, in milk products, several other diet products.
This is the
Cholecalciferol or ergocalciferol.
Yeah.
And the ergocalciferol is mainly from plants, and cholecalciferol is mainly from animals.
And we cannot produce that by ourselves.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
We can produce it by ourselves, but it is It is energy consuming, and it is depending on sun and sunlight. And in certain conditions, we don't produce it as much as we need it. And
For example, now everybody has vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah.
It's now very, very popular since COVID. Everybody knows they are very measuring the vitamin D levels.
I tell you,
Isn't it the sunlight? Is it that there's this one professor who is always telling you, he says we should actually spend 8 hours a day in a swimsuit or less outside in the sun, and the sun should shine ideally with a 90-degree angle on us, like on the equator or so, but not. So it's basically impossible to have enough sunlight exposure, and with our lifestyle we are not exposed enough, and that's why we all have vitamin D deficiency.
yeah, bullshit.
Exactly what I
Bullshit. Yesterday I talked to a colleague of mine, or a colleague of ours, and he he is from anesthesiology department, and they investigated Arabic people. So what you have to keep in mind is the reference values that we should reach are for normal white mid-Americans, and this might not fit for other regions and for persons with other colors and with other sunlight exposure. So they found out that the reference levels for people living here in Dubai are completely miscalculated. Because of the sunlight, we can produce more vitamin D, and we don't need so much in store inside our bloodstream.
Mhm.
Because if we need it, we just produce it, and that's the reason. But that will come up, I think, within the next months, maybe 1 year, that it gets more and more popular, that reference levels for vitamin D is changed by different territories. But nevertheless,
They said also they said sun protection. If you put sun protection cream,
yeah, the interesting thing is if you put sun protection on,
yeah,
then of course you cannot produce vitamin D out of cholesterol. The next thing is you get a vitamin D deficiency.
yeah,
On the one hand, on the other hand, you have high cholesterol because this is the product. So yeah, well, then you have to take 2 pills.
Yeah.
Because you're offending your body to produce vitamin D.
yeah. That happens so often that we offend the body also with other things. It is in the ENT field, but I don't want to elaborate on this right now because we are directly on that vitamin D, which now we know there are various good levels that various people need to have, not one fits all for the entire vitamin D situation. But then you said to me last time that this vitamin D needs to be also, it's just like a, let's say it's like one part or one brick of a function, and it needs to be activated by the body to be useful for certain.
Yeah, but what you have to keep in mind is vitamin D is one of the vitamins that is lipophilic. That means it is an oil. It is oily. So, and the blood is mainly containing water, is a watery fluid. So to transport the oil in the water, you have to dilute it, emulgation.
Mhm.
You have to emulgate it.
Yes.
And for this, we have a special protein which is transporting the vitamin D inside our body. And now comes the trick. So part of the bound vitamin D is transported to the kidney.
Yeah.
And inside the kidney cells, we know a special transport system to engulf the vitamin D into the cell, which is a special transporter.
Yeah.
And that takes the protein plus the vitamin D inside the cell. There it is activated to the active D3, and then it goes to prostate.
Sorry that I interrupt you again. So yeah, so we are talking about these liposomes basically, or exosomes or vesicles, or is this all the same?
You have a vitamin D is a vitamin D binding protein combination.
Yeah.
So you have a combination of the protein where the vitamin D is bound to.
Okay, good.
Okay, we know a transport mechanism for the kidney cells.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so and then inside the kidney cells, the
vitamin, like we are
no.
the vaccination.
No. It's one vitamin D molecule is bound to one protein,
And then it will
and then it is transported throughout the bloodstream. Inside the kidney, it is converted to 125 cholecalciferol or calcitriol, and the calcitriol is then the active form, which is.
I now repeat what I learned from you. So we have this vitamin D. The vitamin D is an oily substance.
That's right.
Dissolves in oil. That says actually we should mix it with oil.
Yes.
To digest it, to get it into the body.
That's right.
Correct?
Oil or milk.
Yeah.
Or yogurt, for example, where you have a mixture of both.
Yeah.
This would be ideal to
once it comes into the body. So basically, it enters our digestive system.
Passes the liver, where it is converted first, and then it is bound. Then it is bound to the protein in transport.
Inside the liver, or where does that?
No. The liver is converting the pre-vitamin D to cholecalciferol, and then it is excreted and goes into the bloodstream, and there it is bound to the vitamin D.
So basically, the bloodstream then fishes out the oily drops or the oily substance.
Well, inside it happens inside the liver, in the very small vesicles.
And the proteins are connecting, or the small vesicles are produced inside the liver and they go in the bloodstream, or how? Anyway, doesn't need to be so accurate. But what I wanted to say is, at a certain stage, this vitamin D, the cholecalciferol, is now connected with a protein.
That's right.
And with this connection with the protein, it enables it to swim in the bloodstream, basically. But not every protein that binds to the vitamin D is at the same time a key to every place to go into a cell, correct?
This is absolutely correct. So you have this vitamin D binding protein, and the D binding protein is not only binding vitamin D. It has also different other actions. Is, for example, a scavenger for a substance called actin, and the actin is leaking into the bloodstream when you have a trauma, when you have a burning trauma, injuries, and then the actin is overwhelming the bloodstream. It is an alarm situation, and if you don't filter it out of the system, then the whole body will collapse. So the vitamin D is able to capture the actin after trauma to calm down the body.
I thought the protein is
The D binding protein is catching the actin.
so the D binding protein.
Yeah, it is not only transporting vitamin D. It can catch actin. It can activate monocytes or macroimmune cells by itself. This is possible, and it can activate neutrophils and can attract neutrophils.
Okay, so this is again something that I would like to explain again, and also you correct me if I'm wrong. So how I understood it. So there is now this protein that is literally waiting in the bloodstream for anything to come. It can be vitamin D, but it can also be actin, which is a product of muscle trauma, for example, and which would be dangerous because it comes in big masses. If there's trauma, it would be dangerous for the body to have this product. We all know this. If somebody has a polytrauma, they are in a serious condition also because of the debris.
Alarm signal proteins swimming around in our bloodstream.
Now, this protein has also the ability to connect then with the cells. Or now I lost it. This was made. It's
the most interesting thing now. So we know a transport mechanism for kidney cells. So let us have a look to kidney cells. So from the liver via the bloodstream, the D binding protein with the vitamin D ends up in the kidney. There we have a known transport mechanism where the whole complex is engulfed into the cell, then split, and then the vitamin D goes to the vitamin D receptor inside the cell. It is converted to the active form, and then you have several DNA reactions. Or this active form is going from the kidney back into the bloodstream, and then engulfed in several other cells. Okay. Also the prostate. Not now. Yeah, but we know only this transport system. For all other cells, the hypothesis tells us the vitamin D splits off the protein within the blood vessels, and then goes through the endothelium of the blood vessels and reaches the tissue where it should belong to. What is by chance? Do you think nature is bloody stupid to do this?
No.
So having one transport mechanism for your kidney, and for any other cell there's no transport mechanism? No. What you should know is that D-binding protein is very varying protein. So we have more than 240 forms of D-binding protein, which are known, and several gene types. several gene types are connected with several diseases. So lung diseases in kids, for example, or autoimmune diseases, they are more connected with the GC2, a gene type, and the GC1F, GC1S are more, are, let's say, more healthy.